the American people stand firm in the faith which has inspired this nation from the beginning. We believe that all men have a right to equal justice under law and equal opportunity to share in the common good. We believe that all men have the right to freedom of thought and expression. We believe that all men are created equal because they are created in the image of God. From this faith, we will not be moved.
Hello, God bless America, and welcome to the Freedom of Thought podcast. I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Freedom of Thought is available on all the different podcasting apps you can imagine out there, for the most part. At least it is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. Thank you once and always for downloading and listening to the show. And today, we're going to talk about the Georgia Guidestones. I guess today, basically, they were damaged badly, apparently, which, well, and then, of course, they're talking about right-wing conspiracy theorists, this and that. Okay, and they talk about how this is a source of right-wing conspiracy and this and that. Well, okay, here's the thing. When you read what's on the Georgia Guidestones and what they're talking about, conspiracy theory, all it does is prove exactly what the global elite are planning. It's all there. And thankfully, the information is there, despite the fact it got blown up and damaged really badly and all that. So, severe damage was caused to it overnight, apparently, July 5th into July 6th, and all that. So, and I apologize for not doing a July 4th episode, just unable to record at the time. And I probably could have found a way and figured something out, and I apologize that I didn't. So, and generally speaking, I kind of I just wasn't prepared, and I wasn't feeling my best. So that's kind of been the case with that. But now we have the Georgia Guidestones to talk about. And again, just further proof that the global elite have a plan, and it's a very evil one. Especially the very first of the 10 Commandments. It's almost like a mockery of God, like a mockery to God, saying, well, these are our 10 Commandments. Like man above God, basically. Like how the Jewish star is a 6-pointed star, God above man. And then a hexagon is man above God. So it's like a 6 above a 7, basically. So it looks like Jewish star, but it's like kind of like designed oppositely. It's like hard to explain, but some of you that understand that know better at the end of the day. So again, apparently on July 6th, an explosion hit the stones, destroying the Swahili and Hindi language slab and causing significant damage to the capstone. Nearby residents reportedly heard and felt explosions at around 4 a.m. So apparently on July, that would be today, July the 6th. And again, it's in multiple different languages: English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, traditional Chinese, and Russian. Okay, so let's read the 10 Commandments of the global elite. And again, also on Truth to Ponder, Bob Bierman, the host there, fantastic, does a fantastic job, is a ordained minister, and just does a wonderful job on the show. And I encourage you to donate to him and all that. I encourage you to check out the show, and in time donate to him. He does a wonderful job. And he's talked about this as well, and he's talked about also like some rich person put this here years ago, back in 1980, put these up in a very rural part of Georgia. It's the strangest thing. And it's like, of course it's got to be Ted Turner, because Ted Turner has constantly talked about this kind of thing. Ted Turner has always talked about bringing down the population and this and that. So I'm letting the cat out of the bag for those of you that have not heard of these before, though I'm guessing a number of you have if you're listening to the show. Number 1 on the Georgia Guidestones, Commandment number 1. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. That would mean reducing the population by, over 90%. Over 90%. And Bill Gates has talked about reducing the population. Of course, a lot of these global elite work together. They get along. The George Soroses, the Bill Gates, those of you that think he's doing good for the world with his vaccine, well, when he talks about reducing the population, and he throws in the very first thing he brings ideas in reducing the population are, we have vaccines, there are ways to do this, and just right away So what does that tell you about vaccines and all the creepiness of what's been going on inside these vaccines and what's going on inside people's bodies after they take the vaccines, including solid substances being found in people's blood that is insane, like rubber band type of material. That's weird and really scary because rubber band type of material in blood vessels doesn't go well. And notice how these people were actually, the people that we're talking about were dead. They were in the morgue. And when you drain blood in the morgue, these type of objects have been found. Well, the coroner has been draining blood. So pretty damn crazy and really scary. But maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. So it's better for nature to have less than 500 million people on Earth. Again, when we're talking about a population near 7 billion, almost there, at the end of the day, the whole plan to make people feel we're overpopulated is to overpopulate cities. So then when most people are all crammed into cities, which is a very small area, like Minneapolis, St. Paul, Chicago, Los Angeles, Tokyo, Beijing, wherever the heck, they're going to think, yeah, we're overpopulated. This is stupid. We need to do something about it. It's getting to be too much. And gosh, it's hot here. Oh, it's so hot. Where, yes, there's a greenhouse effect in cities, but it's not as dramatic as people make it to be. There are greenhouse effects, but it's nothing near, but it doesn't affect the entire planet. Because when when they talked about the North Pole shrinking in size many years ago, back in the late 90s, because that's when that happened. In fact, it's grown since, grown back, you know what I mean? Like sun cycles, the sun goes through hot and cold cycles. But it's funny how somehow our global warming must be affecting the entire solar system, right? Because when the poles were shrinking on Earth, the poles were also shrinking on Mars, because Mars also has poles, a North Pole, South Pole, where it's cold and icy, whatever, this and that, So global warming not only affects Earth, it affects the solar system. Yeah, it's complete BS. It's all a lie. And in fact, back in the 70s, they were talking about an ice age, like we were gonna, we're blocking out the sun with smoke or whatever, this and that, and we're creating an ice age. Well, it looks like they're trying to create an ice age with all these, chemtrails and such, trying to reflect, these objects in the sky, trying to reflect the sun back, and of course the strangeness of the sky, especially during this past spring, which went on for months, where every single evening the sky had a haze in it, no matter what the conditions were, windy, humid, not humid. Not a cloud in the sky, but the sky was hazy as heck every single day, and it was every single day, particularly in the sunset. So I've always found that very strange, because that wasn't the case, not even just a couple of years ago. So something funny has been going on. It's not a conspiracy anymore. It's not a conspiracy theory anymore. It's a conspiracy. So again, this is all about global warming and global warming or climate change or global cooling or ice age. It's all a big bleeping lie. And yes, truth to ponder. Bob Bierman talks about it a lot. Of course, Alex Jones as well. InfoWars with Owen Schroyer as well, and a lot of their great guests that they've had on over the course of time. So, and I'm not associating Bob Bierman with Alex Jones. I'm not sure if Bob Bierman really agrees with everything Alex Jones says. But, I mean, obviously some of it, because, well, this is a conversation that's been going on for many years. So that was number one. Number two, guide reproduction wisely, improve fitness and diversity. Okay, it's interesting, I guess. I don't have a whole lot to add to that, but I guess it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it sounds good on the surface. I would guide reproduction wisely, as in, it's not just about fitness and diversity, like get with whoever. Well, that's actually is what that sounds like. It actually sounds more immoral and worldly than you'd think. Guiding it wisely would be like, for one, well, yeah, they're probably thinking having less kids, which, okay, fine, whatever. But it's nothing about getting married first, unfortunately. They don't seem to give a dang about that. So I'm a strong proponent to getting married first, because I think it's just, well, most of the time I would say the marriage has more of a bond to it, versus just people living together and having kids. So number three, unite humanity with a living new language. Sounds like the Tower of Babel there. Creepy. Unite humanity with a living new language. That sounds exactly like the Tower of Babel. That's really creepy, actually. So, I mean, just make it more obvious. Why don't you? Like God, you stopped those people way back at the Tower of Babel. Well, we're gonna do it now. You can't stop us now. Ha 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 ha. Number 4, rule, passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Rule, passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Interesting. I guess I kind of almost don't get that one, but then again, I'm sure there's a very worldly point of view you could get from that as well, and I'm not a fan of the worldly point of view. Number 5, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Like the 2020 election, that would have been nice. That would have been nice, but unfortunately, it looks like that one is just a big, cute little, like, yeah, we're fair, we're honest, nudge, nudge. So that would be great if you were being sincere about that one, Mr. Mr. Ted Turner, and probably other people involved in it. Probably not just him. Number 6, let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. So it sounds at first like nations could be sovereign. Aha. But guess what? In a world court. Resolving external disputes in a world court. So it does sound more and more like a New World Order than you'd think. Interesting. Resolving external disputes in a world court. That does sound like let's lead towards a New World Order. It sure does. Maybe I'm reading into it wrong, but I don't think so. Number 7, avoid petty laws and useless officials. Yeah, it's petty to have. It's petty to not have same-sex people getting married. That's petty. So a very petty thing. It's very petty. No, I mean you can kind of almost tell what they're talking about there. I'm not trying to bash certain people, certain groups of people. But at the same time, it doesn't mean I agree with the behavior, and it certainly doesn't mean I agree with them getting married either. It's just, it's written. It is written that it's not the right thing to do. It's just not. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, and I hate to offend people. It's the wrong thing to do. Bottom line. So, I'm sure they're hinting at something there. Number 8, balance personal rights with social duties. Sounds like abortion there. Sure does. Sounds like abortion there. Let people have their abortion. Let them have it. Let them have their abortion. Let them kill their kids because they don't want their kids. And hey, population reduction. Yep, population reduction. Come on now, you gotta reduce that population. Aren't you sick of all those people at Boston? Say, yeah, I am actually. I think it's way too overcrowded. That's just poor management, though. That's just poor management, honestly. Really poor management. Ooh boy, I'm in trouble now. And along with cities and everything, that's poor management, and it's quite frankly done by design to make everybody think we're overpopulated. Because why are we cramming like 2,000 people in one facility? It's ridiculous. It's insane. And yeah, there's another aspect to it that I'll leave to myself that needs to move on. I'm just tired of it. Number 9, prize truth. Yeah, I prize truth. I prize truth. I think we need to get some truth out of this 2020 election. Yeah, and of course, the left would say that they were lying, that the Russian collusion happened when their own people, their own democratic people, couldn't find anything. So because there was nothing there to begin with. Whereas in this case, there's so much evidence, so much overwhelming evidence that something wasn't right on election day and the days after and into the night that day as well. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. With the infinite, okay, whatever that means. Who is that? You're you're 1,000 points of light or something like that. The illumination of 1,000 points of light. Is that what we're talking about? Seeking harmony with the infinite. Well, it certainly doesn't sound like God. It sounds like the universe. Be one with the universe. I just love reading about that kind of stuff and hearing about that kind of stuff in people's TikTok and Instagram videos. Just absolutely nothing about God whatsoever. Avoiding God at all costs because because it's just, like somehow magically, you just magically appeared one day. It's just insane to me that people think they magically appeared somehow, some way. And, you're this beautiful Asian girl or whatever the heck, but you're just too good for God. You're just too good. No, just be one with the universe. One with the universe, yep. Everything you're looking at, everything I'm looking at right now out this Golden Valley apartment, the leaves, the trees, the clouds, the sky, that didn't just magically happen because a couple of molecules merged together. Again, where did the molecules come from, though? Again, even if that's what it was, even if it's scientifically proven that molecules merge together, where did the molecules come from? Still can't answer that, can you? They didn't just magically appear out of nowhere. Same with the Big Bang. Where did the Big Bang come from? Well, did it just magically happen out of nowhere out of some kind of void? A Big Bang happened? No. The Big Bang had to have occurred because God said, let there be light, or something along those lines. Number 10, be not a cancer on earth. Leave room for nature. You mean cram people in cities, right? In tiny cities and tell them, well, it's not a tiny city, but tiny areas compared to their population. Cram people in cities and tell them it's overpopulated. There you go. That's a good way to go. Especially smash them in small little rooms and like, my gosh, it's so hot in here. We're overpopulated. Wipe people out or do something about it. We're overpopulated. No, you got to walk to work now. You got to bike to work. That's how it's going to have to be. You can't. You just cannot do it. You can't use those cars anymore. Even though the electricity actually is more expensive and uses up more carbon emissions. It actually uses up more carbon emissions to charge that battery than for you to run a tank of gas. And that's been scientifically proven. So just use whatever science is convenient for you to prove your case, but ignore the other side that disproves your case. That's the funny part, and that's kind of the way of the left, in my humble opinion. Pretty damn crazy, pretty damn scary at the same time. But Georgia Guidestones, to me, again, further proof that there's something going on, and that's been going on for quite a while. George H.W. Bush's speech years ago, back in '91, September 11th, 1991. He was talking about the illumination of 1,000 points of light. He kept mentioning the New World Order time and time again in that speech. And funny how it was September 11th, 1991. Like, the odds of that are insane. So, I mean, that's not a coincidence. It's just not. That's not a coincidence, and that does not make me or anybody else a conspiracy theorist to think that there's a little bit of something going on. And, of course, the number 11 has been a number used many times. Like the League of Nations was signed on November 11th at 11 a.m. November 11th, the 11th month of the year. The 11th month of the year, the 11th day of the month at 11 a.m. Hello? That was the League of Nations at the end of World War I. So back in 1918. So pretty crazy stuff. That was the first step towards the New World Order. And then the United Nations was the second step after World War II. And they were hoping to have World War III back in the 60s. And then that naughty guy JFK messed that up. Doggone it. So among that and him talking about that we were against secret societies, secret proceedings, secret oaths, and secret procedures. Next thing you know, he's killed. He's killed. That's not a coincidence either. And the people you put together that were at that location as well, pretty interesting. One of them was a young H.W. Bush. He was in the CIA back then. It's just crazy and kind of scary. I'm not saying H.W. Bush killed Kennedy, but at the same time, could he possibly been involved? Very quite possibly been involved. Not meaning he pulled the trigger, but again, it's just amazing how many people, how many of the wrong/right people were in the wrong/right place at the wrong/right time. So you just put all this together, and it's a big plan. It's a big idea. A new world order. That sounds familiar. 91. And again, multiple speeches. One from the Oval Office talking to the public, looking right at the camera with that creepy look and that distant look in his eyes. George H.W. Bush back in 91. And, people talking about it's old news. I remember years ago somebody said it was old news back when I worked in my service job years ago. I couldn't tell I should have asked him more. Do you mean old news as in it's been, like this has been going on? It's old news, this is going on? Or old news as in it's like, that's over. What are you talking about? That's just something that this guy talked about back in the day. Like, old news is in it's very much going on, and it's been going on for a while. Yep, I agree with that, yes. Yep. But the look on his face, he looked like the kind of person that would be skeptical and push people away. But I'm not sure. I should have asked that guy more. I should have asked him more, but it's too bad. But to me, I mean, it's just further and further proof. This monument, this Masonic-looking monument, is very much proof that this is real. This is very much real. And again, it's in it's in Elbert County, Georgia. The material is granite, and again, it was opened on March 22nd. That's another multiple of 11. I know, I'm just messing around, but maybe that is kind of something to do with it. March 22nd, 1980. So to think it has been there all those years, and that conversation was that long ago. So yes, it is old news. It is old news. It is old news, but not old news as in like it's over. Like that's just that was something people used to talk about. That's like come on, Joey. This isn't the 1910s anymore. So. Well, and obviously that kind of stuff was talked about that long ago as well, which is really scary and sad at the same time. Oh, I think my mouse is going out. It's the New World Order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role. Sorry, that's HW again, me imitating HW. It really is an incredible thing where that how evil often tells you their plan, and boy, they sure did. And it does blow my mind to consider how long the Georgia Guidestones have been where they are. 42 years. 42 years. Think about it. And yet people dismiss things, people dismiss this, people dismiss that. It's unbelievable. And how like books like 1984 and Brave New World, stuff like that, how long ago this conversation's been around, and how it's turning out to be factually true in every way. And obviously it all ties in with Revelation as well. Revelation and other books, it's like in the book of Daniel as well. Amazing stuff. Check out the Final Hour podcast. I'll recommend that as well. The Final Hour, Jim Hammond, locally, Twin Cities, again, Living Word Christian Center. Of course, the son of Mac Hammond as well. Again, highly recommend that. Highly recommend that show. And he's been doing good series about Revelation and Daniel and such as well in Saturday night sermons and all that from Living Word. So stuff to talk about for sure. I do believe I have some posts, and I didn't pull it up, unfortunately. So I think I'm going to try to keep this to one segment if I can, occasionally. And I apologize if my voice isn't 100%. That's just how it goes sometimes. This thing is... So again, the Facebook page. Guys like Mark Carlson and such, Facebook page, facebook.com/freedom of thou. 76. Mark Carlson... Yes, this was around, I think I read this on Memorial Day, but what an awesome post it was. Jeff Froiland was, I shared an image of the Star Tribune where it said, "Thank you, President Joe Biden, Administrator Michael Reagan, Senator Amy Klobuchar, and Representative Angie Craig for lowering gas prices for American families and bolstering our energy security with more biofuels." And I said, Dear Star Tribune, please tell me this is a joke. Joe Biden and all these people lowered gas prices. They did? Really? They lowered gas prices, huh? That's insane. Jeff Froiland out of Iowa, and Mark Carlson hit the laugh thing. Jeff Froiland, also out of Iowa, says, "Looks like it should be in the Onion." Yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm blown away. I am blown away by the stupidity. Star Tribune is stupid. Yes. And I was saying this is extremely frightening. These people should be in prison for the rest of their life. Authorized personnel says, this is on Twitter, pardon me. When Trump supporters came to my office at the Mayo Clinic, I love misdiagnosing their healthy pregnancies as ectopic. I mean, ectopic, sorry. So they have to abort their white fetuses. Wow. 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 And then Diana responded saying, yeah, well, actually, no, Diana, this authorized personnel retweeted from Diana Thirst right below. I'm a doctor at an urgent care clinic in Seattle, and one foolish Trump supporters dare ask me for help. I love to misdiagnose them and give them vitamins instead of antibiotics. Then I prescribe weed to myself and laugh at them. What the devil, man? So I was saying again, this is extremely frightening. These people should be in prison for the rest of their life. Mark Carlson is not surprised the content has been removed. You know, like, we don't want to show what we're really doing. It's really scary. And I shared an image from Mike Johnson. How it shows one day for Memorial Day, the soldier, crying for a lost comrade, and then a whole month of, rainbows and stuff. Looks like, again, dildos sticking off of a person wearing basically a rainbow outfit. A whole month. They get a whole month. June, they get a whole month. And then Memorial Day gets one day. I was saying this sums up the entire problem. Think about it, folks. One day to honor the troops and an entire month to go crazy about something pretty crazy in itself. Mark Carlson says, I don't know what to say about June, but your comments on target, Joey. And thank you, Marcus, for that. That was, again, Mark from Iowa. And this was a while back. Again, I posted on Memorial Day. This was in, Lakewood Cemetery by Lake Calhoun, or Bombay Scow, or whatever they call it, but I still call it Lake Calhoun. And this was in honor of veterans of World War I, the Spanish-American War, 1898, if I'm saying that correctly. And again, the Civil War, all the way back in the 1860s, of course, early half. Mark Carlson says, I need to visit this monument. Yep. Final thing. Yep, this is the GAR, 1861 to 1865. Mark Carlson says, many Minnesota boys have given all to save our nation. There is a great monument to the soldiers from Minnesota who fought and died at Gettysburg. I have stood at the base of it many times, and that's First Minnesota Volunteer Infantry Regiment Monument. Wow. Yep, this is, wow, man. I'll continue. I'll start kind of from the top here. Yep. Interesting. The 1st Minnesota Volunteer Infantry Regiment has 3 monuments at Gettysburg. The first regimental memorial placed at Gettysburg was an urn to the 1st Minnesota placed in the National Cemetery in 1867. The main monument is on Hancock Avenue near the Pennsylvania Memorial. Interesting, a smaller secondary monument. It is 1/3 mile north on Hancock Avenue. Both monuments were erected in 1898. So again, honoring many Minnesotans that died in Gettysburg. I guess we were way at the top there out of all the states in the United States. Colonel William Colville, an attorney and newspaper owner from Red Wing, led the men into action. He was wounded during the July 2nd charge. Captain Nathan Messick took over command, only to be killed the next day during the repulse of Pickett's charge. Captain Wilson B. Farrell briefly took over until he was also killed. Jeez. Finally, Captain Henry Seacoates took over the command for the rest of the battle. The regiment lost 50 men, 173 wounded, and 1 missing. Yeah, I mean, that's a terrible thing that took, obviously a terrible battle. The Battle of Gettysburg, lots of people died in that battle. But Minnesota was way at the top with deaths in that battle. So, definitely something to remember forever. Regardless of how long ago it was, I'll always remember and appreciate and respect the men who died at Gettysburg. With that, we will give them a moment of silence. Thank you to all that died in the Battle of Gettysburg. Thank you for fighting for the freedom of us all, and thank you for serving this country. And just so sorry you lost your life at such a young age. And it's just crazy how one guy took over and died, next one died, one guy took over, then he died, and then the next one took over, and then he died. Oh man, that's really something else. But that was the Civil War. I mean, it really was. And I just I have like day nightmares thinking about being in a war like that and how terrible it would be. And it's just nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. Oh man, other than just keep fighting and praying for the best in such a big way. So with that, I think we'll be wrapping things up here. Tell your friends about the show. If you could, write a positive rating on Apple Podcasts, possibly on what's the other one? Audible, Spotify, and Stitcher are the apps where you can either write a review or give a star rating. For those of you that have, thank you so much. And anyone in the future, thank you in advance so much. Really appreciate it. You can also join this show via auto submission. So audio submission, it would be greatly appreciated if you want to do that. Simply open up your smart device, open up the free voice recording app that every smart device should have. Press record, treat it like a phone call, hit stop, and then share it / email it to paladinolive@yahoo.com, paladinolive@yahoo.com. It'll be there in the show description for you if you want to copy and paste this and that. I will then convert it into an MP3 file thanks to Zumzar with a Z.com. Does a great job converting files to MP3s for me so I can put it in Audacity and put your sound into the show. With that, again, hope you had a wonderful July 4th. It's a tragedy, some of the stupid things that happened and the selfish behavior in downtown Minneapolis and in North Minneapolis and such. Just a bunch of, idiots. Just, with illegal fireworks in the first place, doing whatever the hell they want because no one will do anything about it. It's just a horrible reality. But again, hope all of you did have a wonderful July 4th. I apologize that I didn't do a show around that time. Wishing all of you a wonderful summer, depending on when I return. I'm sure I'll return very soon. This one was not a mobile record. Today was like a regular back at home recording. So again, hopefully my voice will be a little better next time around. I apologize if it's not the best. And maybe it'll be mobile again, depending on how things go. With that said, wishing you all the best, and God bless the United States of America.